Okay, so I've had a card market order come through. I'm not going to show the front because my address is on it. It's not on a sticker. But we've got some card market stuff. So, yes, it should be good. It's also, I forgot to do the intro, man. I has a letter. We just got a letter. Yeah. Bleh. Let's just do this. It's just, yeah. I've been spending too much time on horse women to really be invested in Magic mentally at the moment. I'll just open this. So this is all from a seller called Kizzy. Technically, this was in a separate letter. I don't know if they forgot to add it in the first batch where they just didn't fit, but we got Haiko Yamakaze, the general, the anime alt art. I like getting the anime alt art stuff from Kamigawa because it's cool. There's quite a bit of it here, actually. So there's stuff like Nezumi Blade Blesser, which is cute. Just that. Norika Yamazaki, the poet. I'm also trying to get like a bunch of stuff from this set for D&D purposes. Also, I just love the theme. Avika Enigma Goliath is one of the few Phyrexian cards I'm missing. I want to do more legends. Realm Sketching, I think, is a relatively new card. It's just good. I want to experiment with it more. Here is the main card that made me go to the seller. They had a copy of Stiltskin, Moogle Merchant, the alt art version. I want to build this as a commander because funny Moogly boy. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that yet, but it's going to revolve around giving my opponents things and then laughing at them. We've got Selfless Samurai for the same reason as some of the other stuff. The alt art of it is because I might actually put Selfless Samurai in an actual deck, since even though it's not a great card, it does lifelinky things, and it also, you can protect stuff. It's decent protection in a Weenies deck. Also, they were both really, really cheap, and that version is just cooler looking, anime style. The Regalia is a card that I was missing with the Final Fantasy set for vehicles, and it wasn't expensive. Titania, Protector of Orgoth, is one of the more expensive cards, and the reason I went to the seller. There is something very funny you can do with this card. So, whenever a land controls point the creature from the battlefield, create a 5/3 elemental creature, right? And whenever it enters the battlefield, return a land card to the battlefield. This is fine. So, you can, yeah. If you have ways of getting rid of lands, such as animating them and letting them die, you can make more 5/3, more elementals. And what card cares about elementals? Why, it's Omnomnath, of course. And Omnomnath says, oh hey, an elemental died. Ping time. So there's more ways of creating more elementals, which means more pings. I picked up a Wild Ricochet just because it was cheap, and Wild Ricochet is a very funny card. I might run this in something. I'm going to probably keep it in the binder for now, just because good card is good. We have Yadora, Grave Gardener. This is also another funny card for elementals. It's not an elemental itself, however, there's a funny effect here. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, may return it on its battlefield, face down, and its owner's control, it's a forest land. Now, let's say, for example, you animate said forest land, making it an elemental, because there are cards that do that, and then swing at your opponent. And they block, because they could just chump block it or whatever, and it dies. Oh no, not only does Omnomnath go, Lamau and Elemental died, ping, but because it wasn't a token, because it was a face-down card and not a token, it goes back to being a forest land again. And also, in addition to that, not tapped. Therefore, let's say, for example, you have the... elemental green creature that says all lands or whatever have vigilance. Land creatures will have vigilance, right? Therefore, you could swing, go get some mana. Let's say you have one color Omnath in play, so you really don't care if you'll lose, because you can't lose green mana. It dies, you put it back, and all of a sudden you have more mana. Eudora is a very funny card. And that's my argument. Also, it was a very pretty, just nice pretty version. So that's also a big bonus. I have a foil of Circle of Power. Just because, yes, I want to get quite a few of these, because this is a very funny card. In any deck that cares about casting non-creature spells, this is just hilarious. We have Covert Technician from the Kamigawa set. Again, cute anime waifu looking card. In a set that makes sense for it to have it. Dark Steel Juggernaut. This was, again, something for D&D stuff. This was the cheapest version I could get because it's from the Commander deck. It's not a good card, to be honest. They had an Natali, so I picked up an Natali. Again, it was quite cheap, and I'm like, Natali is very funny. Card is very funny, and it's always a good staple to pick up because people like Natali for obvious reasons. We have Firion, Wild Rose Warrior. This copies equipment. I think I just picked it up because it was really cheap. Flicker Wisp, because, again, it was not expensive, it's a good staple, and I'm currently running on one of my decks a Japanese Flicker Wisp. And Flicker Wisp is one of those that you really need to know what it does. You might think you know what it does. Oh, well, it flickers things. But specifically the wording, exile another target permanent. Return it to the owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. This is the important bit, because a lot of Flicker stuff just flickers stuff you control, and creatures specifically. This is any permanent on any battlefield. That's the important distinction that is sometimes difficult to remember in the heat of battle, and hence why I wanted an English copy of it. From Father to Son is another Final Fantasy card that cares about vehicles, and I needed it and it was not expensive. Gimli Counter of Kills is at Dwarf, and I do still want to build Boros Dwarves because, hello, I'm Simon. I'm a dwarf and I'm taking it all. We've got Guardians of Oboro, which is Moonfolk, which is a very unique thing to Kamigawa. Again, awful card. Well, they're not terrible, I guess, if you're doing a defender deck. Because you can run it in Arcades, I guess? Question mark. Yeah, there's Hellkite Igniter, which is another Mirrodin flavored card. Again, this was cheaper because it was from the Commander decks and not from the set. Hinata Dawn Crowned, another weird thing from blah 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 Kamigawa. I think this might be one of the Commander deck cards, maybe. And then again, it's got the non-Commander deck symbols. I don't know. Imperial Subduer. I might already have this card, but again, the alt art is nice. Joyra was just, again, really inexpensive, and this is a very funny card. I feel like this might be pretty good in timey-wimey style decks, maybe. We have Vana'diel Adventurers, just Labman. But again, this wasn't expensive at all, and this is just a Final Fantasy full art version of things. I might wind up putting Labman in something. It's good to have a win con for deck out. I might wind up putting in the stupid duck deck, because Lapman kind of works in there, because we do need win cons in that deck. And even though it doesn't really mill itself, just having another way to win outside of approach is just kind of useful. Melira, again, I think I traded away my previous one of these, and it's just good to have, again, not expensive, and it's just good to have more stuff from Phyrexia, so I can do the thing. The alt art of Mindlink Mech, I don't know how I didn't have this before, but I was just like, again, not expensive, and I like my anime alt arts things. Moon Circuit Hacker, not really as cute, but the anime art style, again, is nice. And Myojin of Roaring Blades, again, another really cheap card for doing Kamigawa stuff with. Again, I want to do more legends, because Kamigawa's legends are really interesting, particularly the, like, spirits, what do they call them? Not yokai, the other one. Kami, yeah, the Kami, or the, because a Myojin is a type of Kami, I think. It's also not an awful card. Like, the Myojins are weird, because of the whole indestructible counter and doing things. So, yeah, I might want to get another copy of this, maybe. But I think it's because it's in red, which isn't a color that proliferates a lot. This isn't fantastic. Every other color of Myojin, I think, is slightly better than this because you can proliferate them. In any case, that was that little lot, that little group, so I have more stuff to homebrew with, and some upgrades, much needed upgrades for the Omnomnath deck. I was really shy at first about making it land creature based, but now that I know some of the more decent cards for that, I'm gonna run it a little bit more in that regard, purely for the combo strats, because this potential combo is just hilarious, and I love it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video here. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite card from this little lot was. your thoughts on the Kamigawa stuff in general, and you know what? Any advice on two-color Gruul Omnath, to be honest? What would you put in there? What do you think of this tech? And I'll see you guys, and on that note, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye! Loud, incessant goose noises and kisses from the goose. Bye-bye!